I mean, how many here, when you started your company, you wanted to make just enough money to stay broke, right? I mean, who wants that, right? Nobody wants that. So this guy messages me on Twitter, and he says, you know, you sure talk about money a lot. You talk about money a lot in your tweets. You talk about money in your all your social media. I said, man, this guy's really following me here. I mean, but that's great. I said, that's great. But he says, you know, money won't make you happy. And I said to him, well, you know, not making money won't make you happy either, right? I've tried being broke and busted. It was a disaster of an experiment. Wouldn't you agree? How many have been broke, right? How many know that having money is better than not having money, right? Yeah, right? I mean, that's a given, right? How many know that this is a prospecting tool, your phone, right? I mean, this is, if you're still doing business like it's 2009 in a 2016 world, things need to change, okay? And I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to tweet this. I'm going to take a picture of you guys over here. All right, let's see how long this takes. Let's see how long this takes. Okay. That's Conigliaro, Conigliaro. Now watch this, watch this. How long did that take? A few seconds, right? 87,000 people, plus or minus, are going to see that tweet today. Okay, you want to be everywhere. You want to take massive amounts of action. Okay, it's not enough to just say, well, people in my little town know about me. No, you want people everywhere talking about you. Today I want to talk about taking massive amounts of action. Okay, there's 4 quadrants when it comes to taking massive amounts of action. The first quadrant is no action. How many of you guys know no action? Right? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make any phone calls. I'm going to wait for all the business to come to me. I'm really not going to do anything to put myself out there. I'm just going to wait for it all to come to me. How many of you know no action? How many of you know people that take no action? And then they complain that business isn't coming to them, right? I like to call that taking massive amounts of action, but towards the negative, right? You know, everybody's taking massive amounts of action, just some people don't do anything with it, right? Here's the second thing. Second quadrant is taking a normal amount of action. Okay, that's just kind of going through the motions, showing up to work. Oh, I work 9 to 5. I'll call this customer if I have to. You know, normal amounts of action. How many of you have been there? How many ever feel like that? I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. The third quadrant is taking average amounts of action. Now this is interesting because it kind of gets a little subjective here. What do I mean by taking average amounts of action? Okay, what I mean is whatever I think or whatever you think your market's doing, the guys that are in your industry that you're competing against day in and day out, you're thinking, I'm probably going to take the same amount of activity towards my business as they do. So we're going to call that average. Now, why? Now, who here wants to compete with their competition? Who wants to compete? Do you want to compete or do you want to dominate? We want to dominate, right? We want to crush it, right? You know, you got to take pictures with your customers. Take your picture with your arm around your customer, saying this. Send them the link to your Facebook page. Send them the link to your Twitter account. Then they're going to start following you. Then all of a sudden they get hooked on you, right? You want to keep your customers addicted to you. They're like, hey, I just text my customers every now and again saying, hey, we just put up a new car gallery. Maybe your car's on. Maybe a picture of your car is there. Go ahead and check it out. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's not their car, but they're like, oh, maybe he's got a picture of my car. You know, because these people, they love their cars, right? They wouldn't hire us if they didn't love their vehicles. So they feel like they're part of your show. Right? Keeping your customers addicted to it's huge. How many of you know that you got to cut through all the noise? This is a noisy world, right? You got to cut through all that noise. I know some guy, he says to me about 3 weeks ago, we were doing one of these. This guy says to me, there's just no work in my area. Everywhere I go, I can't find a job. I'm looking for work. Guys, you know, I'm unemployed. I'm looking for work. I said, well, how are you marketing yourself? He says, well, I go in and fill out an application, seeking for job employment. I said, well, how are you marketing yourself? And he says, well, I go in and I kind of dress like, this. And I said, no. How are you this ain't marketing. These are clothes, right? This isn't marketing. I'll get them like a Louisville Slugger baseball bat. And I'll come in and I'll drop it on the desk, right? And they'll say, what's with the bat? What, are you going to hit me or something? I'm not going to hit you. I said, no, because I want to knock it out of the park with you. And I want this as a symbolic reminder of why I'm here. I want to get business with you. And they're like, oh, that's good. That's good. How about this? I was meeting with one guy, Ross Sudduth, owns the country's largest moving company, moving chain, Sudduth Moving. You ever heard of them? Sudduth Moving? Moving trucks all over the nation. And I finally, after weeks and weeks of trying to get an appointment with this guy, finally he agreed to meet with me. I said, hey man, I'll buy you lunch. He says, no. I said, I'll buy you dinner. No, I'll buy you breakfast. Okay. So he sits down with me. I go in there and I went and I think it was Big Lots or one of these stores. I bought a salad chopper. And I said, hey Ross, I got you a gift. He says, what's this? I said, it's a salad chopper. I said, Ross, do you know why I got you a salad chopper? He said, because you think I'm heavy and I need to eat salads? I said, no, baby, because I want to slice and dice your competition with you. That's why I'm here. He says, that's good. That's good. How are we marketing ourselves? How are we marketing ourselves? It's important, critical question. I want to give you guys some things to say to your customers, things that I say to mine, and this stuff is very effective, very effective. Let's say a customer says, now's not a good time. Now's not a good time. First, what I like to do is I love to agree with, you got to agree with your customer first. First thing, how many of you believe that the customer is always right? All right, good. Well, I'm glad only 2 hands went up because the customer is not always right, right? But a customer doesn't always have to be right for you to agree with your customer. Am I right? Like, for example, I may feel hot up here, Gina may feel cold, and the truth is I feel hot, Gina feels cold. So I can agree with Gina that she's cold and I feel hot. Is that true or false? Is that right or wrong? Right? All right. Customer says to me, now's not a good time. Dave, I'm telling you right now, tell your girls now's not a good time. She's calling too much anyway. I said, hey, I'm with you. In fact, that makes perfect sense. You know what? I've been thinking, maybe we do call people a lot. But you know what, Rick? The truth is, now's the perfect time to get this done to your vehicle. He says, you know what? You're right. You're right. You know what? I have been procrastinating. You're right. Let's go ahead and set it up. Or how about this? Customer says, call me back in a month. How many of you get that? Call me back in 3 weeks. Call me back in a month. Now's not a good time. Okay? Same thing, right? I hear you. You know what? Now may not be the perfect time, in your life right now, but I'll tell you what. Our prices are going up, but I want to lock you in at a really good rate. So why don't we go ahead and get it done now? That way you're not surprised later. Okay, let's set it up. Okay. It works like a charm. It works like a charm. Guys, try this for the next 24 hours. Here's a litmus test for you. Now, it's going to be harder than you think. Agree with everybody you come in contact with for the next 24 hours. I want you to practice this. I agree. Say this with me. I agree. I'm with you. I understand. Hey, that makes perfect sense. Try that. Saying that first and then asking for what you want later. So we go, I agree. I'm with you. That makes perfect sense. You know what? I didn't see it that way until you said it that way. That now that I'm thinking, hey, and I'm telling you, this works. Because man has this gluttonous craving in his psyche to be right. He wants to be right. He wants to be understood. How many of you know that price is a myth? Price is a myth. Oh, come on. Price is a myth. Let me tell you something. Truth is, price is a myth. If price wasn't a myth, how come you have certain hotels that charge $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 or more a night? Meanwhile, in the same city, you can find a room for about $29 a night. Price is a myth. Prices of myth. Hell, you could stay at a hospice for free, right? But people, you know what I learned? I learned this a while back. I tell my wife this all the time. I used to be a cheapskate. I'm like, honey, look, a last-minute deal on a cruise. We could save $200. And I'll tell you what, the caliber of the people on that cruise ruined my experience. All because I wanted to pay or not pay an extra the extra $200. Now I'm like, hey man, if I want to have better experiences, I'm going to stay at better places. And that's how it needs to be for your customers. Your customers are dealing with you. You're the better experience. I talked to a guy the other day. I called this guy. I've got a training program. I've got a $4,000 training program. I called this guy on the phone. Now, what I do is a little counterintuitive. It's going to sound counterintuitive to you. I call this guy on the phone. I've never talked to him in my life. I said, hey, Bill, Dave Canigliaro. What can I do for you? I said, listen, I need $4,000 from you for a training program that I have. He says, I'm not interested. I said, Bill, of course you're not interested, man. You haven't even heard the value of what I'm offering you yet. He says, well, what is it? All right, look, and then I start building the value. See, it sounds counterintuitive. What do you mean? See, it goes counterintuitive to everything we've ever heard in sales. I hit somebody with the price first, and then I tell them what they're going to get. And so in their mind, they're saying, okay, that's worth $1,000, that's worth $500, that's worth, and once it goes above that $4,000 in their mind of value, now they're like, it's worth it to me. So you're telling me, Dave, if I give you the $4,000, it's going to bring me $90. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. He goes, well, he kind of pushes back a little bit, and he says, I think I can get a similar product down the street for about $1,000 less. I said, my deal's still better. I gave him 12 reasons why my deal's still better, and he closed with me, right? You gotta build value. The only reason that I can get on the phone or my secretary can get on the phone and call all these people all day long is that she and I both believe that what we're offering is worth 5 to 10 times what we're charging for. And then you have all the confidence in the world. All the confidence in the world. Endless referrals, keeping your pipeline full. Try this. Call a customer, say, hey, I just need a name. Give me somebody. Well, what do you mean? You want me to, I called a guy the other day. I said, hey, his name was David as well. I said, David. I said, hey, this is Dave over here at Premium Auto. You want me to do well, right? Yeah, I thought you were already doing well. I said, but I wanted to be doing more well. Do you want me to be doing well? Really well? He says, yeah. I said, well, I need a name. Give me a customer. Anybody. Aunt, uncle, brother, sister, doesn't matter. Give me somebody. And you'd be surprised, man. They give it to you. They'll give it to you. Thanks for coming out, guys. Thank you.